Shapiro should probably avoid ever talking about anything having to do with sex, just keeping it real. Because every time he does, it tends to be a little bit of a disaster for him. This time though, he talked about it in the context of the Met Gala, where apparently he was disturbed by the commentary on the outfit of one gala goer. Let's watch.
And then we had Cara Delevingne, and I may be screwing up her name, but frankly, I don't care because I really don't know very much who she is. Apparently she's some sort of model. And here she was modeling a bib/straitjacket. I don't know what this top is supposed to be. And it says, peg the patriarchy. Oh, the courage. Oh, the stunning courage and bravery. Peg the patriarchy. Because pegging, of course, is an obscure sexual practice in which women perform the more aggressive sexual act on men. Peg the patriarchy, right? Which, yeah. And she's pegging the patriarchy by being a model for the pleasure of men, generally speaking. And also, she's pegging the patriarchy by wearing scantily clad outfits that say this. And the patriarchy is quaking in its boots, let me tell you. Wow, the courage. You know, by the way, where the patriarchy is actually dominant, you think a woman could wear this? So in Afghanistan right now, the patriarchy is pretty dominant. If Cara Delevingne walked out on the streets of Afghanistan, she would be dead within approximately 22 seconds. Because she doesn't live in a patriarchy. That's the thing. She lives in a free republic. Yeah, but peg the patriarchy, such courage. Oh, and doing it at the Met Gala of all places. I mean, she's not even doing it like a truck stop in Ohio. She's doing it at the Met Gala. That's where the patriarchy lives. Unbelievable courage, stunning bravery.
Man, he got real triggered by that. Like, it's amazing how triggered he got by that. Which, by the way, I would venture to say was her point. It was to troll people like Ben Shapiro, and mission accomplished. It worked really well.
You know, listen, and here at the bonus episode, the bonus show, we're a sex positive show. So
we are.
If you like to be pegged in your personal time, we're not here to make fun of it or make fun of you. But as you said, and the point of the shirt was to get people upset. And I don't think she was saying peg the patriarchy without their consent. You know, a lot of people like that stuff. We're not here to judge them or tell them that it's wrong. I think she was just encouraging the practice. That's all. That's how I interpreted her choice of attire. And I think, you know, that's the point of art, right? It's left to interpretation, to provoke. Ain't that right, Anna?
Yes, absolutely. I think she just wanted to make an aggressive point about effing the patriarchy in the bottom, okay? And by the way, let me just say, and I have no, it's not for me, I'm not into that, right? But I have no shame toward anyone who is into it. The whole point of this though is, honestly, I wanna ask, does Ben Shapiro know what pegging is? Because he referred to it as the more aggressive sexual act on men, which makes me think maybe he does, but does he know what happens?
Does he know? Does he understand what actually goes on? Does he understand that there's a belt and a buckle involved in it?
I mean, because
there's a harness involved in this thing.
He seemed genuinely clueless about the capabilities of the female organs when a woman is stimulated, right? He seemed to not know that certain things tend to happen, which is concerning that, for his wife mostly. But whatever, that's beside the point. If that was something that he seemed clueless about, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Before we did this story, I wanted to cross my T's, dot my I's, and make sure I don't make a fool out of myself. And I'm like, pegging is what I think it is, right? So I did Google it, and it is. It is what just to double check, right? And it is what no hate. I knew what it was. I just wanted to confirm it. But if I was a little unsure, I don't know. Ben Shapiro, does he really know?
I'm sure Ben Shapiro knows what the act of pegging is. I just think it just makes him very scared and frightened.
It's not for everyone. I get it.
He clearly thinks it's an act of like violence, essentially, to do something like that, which is why he kept invoking this like, oh, they're being real tough and blah, blah, blah. Like he thinks it's like, it's a punishment act or something.
But the guys want it. Like that's a thing. It's a thing. It's a dominance thing. Yeah. Anyway. But okay. So moving away.
Guys who Ben Shapiro probably looks up to have probably been pegged in the recent past. So
yeah,
such is life.
Yep. Good for them. Whatever they're into, as long as it's adults and they're consenting to it, have fun. But I do want to just touch on, I wanted to touch on a few other things. So I didn't know that models existed solely for the pleasure of men, but that's the kind of thinking that you get from someone like Ben Shapiro. And then like, more importantly, the Afghanistan angle, right? Like this whole notion of, as a woman, you're not allowed to complain about issues pertaining to gender equality or whatever in America because look at what they do in Afghanistan, which sounds pretty good. Wish we had the Taliban here in the US, but I guess we can't. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, but we live here. We live here in the United States. We don't live under Taliban rule, and we get to push back against things that we think aren't right and we'd like to reform. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just interesting how they always do. Like, it reminds me of like weird arguments my parents would make when I would complain about things that were justified, right? And it's like, oh, but did you know in Armenia? No, I don't care about Armenia. I mean, I care about Armenia, but like, I don't live in Armenia. I live in a free country, and like, this is unjust. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's stupid that he would try to talk out of both sides of his mouths, because part of the rationale for being in a war for 20 years over there is that we're civilizing the savages. That's part of the reasoning behind the war. So you then can't turn around and say, we're civilizing the savages, and but look what they're doing over there. And like, if you already said that what they do is savage, like, and beneath our standards of living and culture, then why the hell are you invoking it in this conversation? You've already made the claim that these people are savages and brutes. So how are you then trying to use what they do as an argument on the other? And it just doesn't make any sense. That doesn't pass muster.
Yeah, it's basically like this shut up and take it, because it could be worse argument, and it's just hollow and pathetic and skirts, honestly, the real issue, which is he believes in a form of conservatism that loves and wants to maintain the patriarchy, right? So that's why he was so, like, most people, including men, didn't even comment on it, didn't even notice it, right? Like, they weren't as triggered as Ben Shapiro was. It's just incredible, like, how, like, it was fantastic how that trolling effort worked on Ben Shapiro and somehow baited him into talking about sex again, which he should really be cognizant of. Like, he should be very aware that every time he does it, it's just not a good look.
There are a lot of great ways to watch the Young Turks, but is there a best way? Of course, the best way is to watch live. Tune in weekdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. You get our uncensored, unapologetic version of the news that you won't get anywhere else. Watch us live.